Good morning, all of you. So I have sent PDF file of the notes, right? You just take the Xerox and bring it to the college whenever you have next class. Okay. So let's revise once this total chapter. So this chapter name is semiconductor devices. So let's start from solids. Solids we are classifying into two, that is crystalline and amorphous. So crystalline solids means what? Long range order in the arrangement of atoms. And here in amorphous, no long range order in the arrangement of atoms. Right? These crystalline solids have sharp melting point and they are isotropic. These amorphous solids, they do not have sharp melting point and are isotropic. For example, sodium chloride, germanium, silicon, and amorphous means glass. Okay, right. Next one, band theory of solids. What is this? Band theory of solids. So already I told you conduction band, valence band. So let's see in detail what actually these are. So conduction in solids is due to the presence of free electrons, which are very loosely bound to them. Okay, some electrons are loosely bound, and because of them, conduction takes place. Energy of electron depends on its orbit. It is like as potential energy depend on height. No, same like that. Energy also, energy of electron depends on its orbit. It is not possible to talk about discrete energy levels for each atom. Okay, next one. So different energy levels are spread into bands called energy bands. So whatever these energies are there, they have spread into the bands, and that bands are your energy bands. Now see here, energy. So this is forbidden gap. You can see, and these are the all discrete energy levels of an isolated atom. Like these things will be there. Okay. Now, next one. What is Fermi level? What is Fermi level? The highest energy level occupied by an electron in the valence band at 0 Kelvin is called Fermi level. Okay, highest energy level at 0 Kelvin. That is what Fermi level means. Next is conduction band, the unfilled or partially filled energy band above valence band. So below it will be valence band, above it will be conduction band, and it is unfilled or partially filled because some electrons will go from valence band to conduction band. Okay, right. Next one, energy gap. Okay, energy gap. So energy difference between the top of valence band and the bottom of conduction band, it is expressed in electron volt. Electron volt. EV means electron volt. So conduction band and valence band, in between that whatever gap is there, that is what your energy gap is. Now I have given one chart. You can see here. This one conductors. First I will tell of conductors. See, energy gap is 0. For example, sodium. Valence band is filled and conduction band is empty, but to overlap each other, for example, zinc, metals have high conductivity and low resistivity. That's why they are a very good conductor. Understand? They have high conductivity and low resistivity. You can see in the diagram, I have shown valence band and conduction band, but whatever the energy gap is there in between them, that is nearly equal to 0. You can see here. See here. Okay, energy gap is nearly equal to 0. That's why they are very good or very good conductors of electricity, right? Okay, next one, you see in insulators. In insulators, energy gap is greater than 3 electron volt. For example, diamond. For diamond it is 5.5 electron volt, so greater than 3 electron volt. Low conductivity and high resistivity, that's why they will not conduct. And you can see here, this is conduction band, this is valence band, and there is a lot of energy gap, and that's why they are not conducting. Next one is semiconductors. Now see, forbidden energy gap is much smaller than that of insulators. So it is equal to 0.2 electron volt to 3 electron volt. So it is mid-range, we can say. So here valence band and conduction band is there. So in between them, whatever the energy gap is there, that is less than 3 electron volt. Okay, next. Energy gap for germanium is 0.7 electron volt. Silicon it is 1.1 electron volt, and gallium arsenic it is 1.41 electron volt. And these semiconductors are negative temperature coefficient devices. Okay, right. Next one. Now types of semiconductors. Okay, types of semiconductor. First one is intrinsic and second one is extrinsic. Intrinsic means naturally available and extrinsic means man-made, we can say. So let's see first of all intrinsic semiconductor. Okay, see, purest form, and at high temperature some electrons gain sufficient energy to break away covalent bonds and jumps into conduction band, thus becoming free electrons. And right, next one, the electron that breaks away from covalent bond leaves behind vacancy in the lattice. This is excess of positive charge called hole, and electron and holes are called intrinsic carriers. Ne, number of electrons, Nh, number of holes. This is what? Number of ions, we can say. So number of ions is equal to A0 T cube e power Eg by Kt, and fraction of electron of valence band present in conduction band is directly proportional to e power minus Eg by Kt. So on this you may get problem. So you can use these formulas for solving them, right? Next one is doping. What is doping? Method of adding impurities. Method of adding impurities. Next is extrinsic semiconductor. It has two types. One is P and another is N. What is P type? When trivalent impurity is added in a semiconductor. Then valence band is filled with abundant holes. In these holes are majority charge carriers, electrons are minority charge carriers. Now here in N type, which impurity we are going to add? Pentavalent impurity. Pentavalent impurity means what? Already we have discussed. The elements or atoms whose last orbit contains 5 electrons, right? That is what pentavalent impurity. And valence band is filled with abundant electrons. So majority charge carriers are electrons, minority charge carriers are holes. Okay. Now you can see here some note points I have given. Ne into Nh is equal to Ni square. I is equal to Ie plus Ih, means total current is because of electron and hole. And this sigma and all we will see ahead also. I will tell you one derivation for this. Right. So next one is electrical conductivity of semiconductor. That is what we was talking about. Now see here. This is a potential and this is a conductor of length L. And now this current is flowing through this. Now I is equal to what? Ie plus Ih. Ie plus Ih means current because of electrons plus current because of holes. So Ie is equal to what? E into NEA VE, because we know this formula, drift velocity formula. In 10th class you have learned. PD is equal to I by NEA. So if I want now I, then just what you have to replace? This phi D will become of electron. Yes. And that's why this I is equal to ENEA VE. Similarly, IH is equal to ENH VH. So now we got IE value, IH value. Just substitute in this equation and take EA common. NEVE plus NHVH. Okay. Right. Next. Now R is equal to rho L by A and V is equal to IR. So therefore V is equal to, at the place of that, I am substituting rho LE, NEVE plus NHVH. And now This L I am transferring here, phi by L, sigma rho E, NeV plus NHVH. Now this phi by L is what? Electric field, and that's why I am replacing with E, rho E, NeV plus NHVH. Now, see next step what I am doing. Now electric field is rho E, NeV plus NHVH. Now this electric field I will transfer here and this rho I will transfer here. So 1 by rho is equal to E into capital E, NeV plus NHVH. Now again, see this one here, you change one thing you do. This one is, this E will come down now. So here you change, you write it as a by. Okay. Just change in the notes, that is by. Clear? E by E karo, because this row will go to here. So E is also coming at denominator. So here it is, you just change it by. Okay. And now this electric field I am bringing inside the bracket. So NeV by E plus NHVH by E. And this is what your mobility is. Mobility of electrons. This is mobility of holes. We have replaced here. And that's why sigma is equal to E NeMeV plus NHMeVH. Okay. Next one. Now sigma is equal to what? E NeMeV plus NHMeVH. This is what formula which is useful for solving problems. Next one is PN junction. So we have learned how to make P-type semiconductor and how to make N-type semiconductor, right? Now one side P-type and another side it is N-type. Okay, that is what PN junction is. Now what is the diffusion? What is diffusion? Okay, what is diffusion? So now see, migration of majority charge carriers. Migration of majority charge carriers. Now in N-type, what is majority charge, or what are majority charge carriers? Electrons. And in P-type, what are majority charge carriers? Holes. So from N-type, electrons will move this side and holes will move this side. Then we can say that that is what diffusion is. Okay. And now you can see here, I have clearly shown in the diagram. So electron from N to P and holes from P to N is called your diffusion. Okay. Now, diffusion occurs at PN junction until positive ions are formed, N side, and negative ions are formed on P side. These ions are immobile and stop the diffusion of electrons N side and holes from P side. So one particular time will come when they will stop the diffusion. These immobile ions at junction develop a potential difference, and as it prevents further diffusion of charges across junction, it is called potential barrier. But it is called potential barrier. Now, what is this depletion layer? What is the depletion layer? Now see, P-type and N-type, in between them, there is a physical region where there are no charge carriers. That is called depletion layer. And width of depletion layer is how much? Few micrometer. Few micrometer means in the 10 power minus 6 range. What is 10 to the power minus 6 range? And next one, electric field is directed from N to P. Keep it in mind. Electric field is directed from N to P, and therefore E is equal to VB by D, where VB is what? Barrier potential. D is what? Width of depletion layer. Keep it in mind. If they are asking you electric field across that, then you should use this formula, that is VB by D. So you can see here, D is width of depletion layer. I have shown here. Okay. Negative ion, positive ion, this is VB, and this is width of this depletion layer. N-type semiconductor, P-type semiconductor, and PV depends on nature of semiconductor and temperature. And this is what symbol of diode, right? Got it? Good. Next one, biasing. Now forward bias and reverse bias. When high potential is connected to P type and low potential is connected to N type, then that bias is called as forward bias. P type positive terminal or high voltage, N type negative terminal or low voltage, and VE should be greater than VB, then D or W is less, resistance decrease. Means what? If supplied voltage is greater than barrier potential, then width of depletion layer is less and resistance is less. Effective barrier voltage in this case is V minus VB. And as we have discussed earlier, resistance of ideal diode is 0 in forward bias, and diffusion current is what? I is equal to IE plus IH. IE plus IH. That is because of electron plus hole. Okay. Next, if now you can see in this circuit, here I have connected one diode, and here it is supply voltage, and this is resistance, and current flowing through is I. Now what is I here? First this is E, and some barrier potential is there for this diode. That's why E minus VB is effective voltage, and total resistance is what? R plus RF. RF means what? Resistance offered by diode in the forward bias condition. Okay, that's why R plus RF. So total potential by total resistance. This is what current flowing through this diode. And power across diode is Phi. Power formula you know, Phi. So VB into I. So whatever this potential is there, effective potential, E minus VB into I. Across diode is this, and across resistance is this. Okay, getting my point? This is across resistance, and this power is across diode only. That's why here only barrier potential, and here it is net potential. This is across resistance, this is across diode. So if they are asking you any problem, you can use this. Okay, next, let's move ahead. Now some examples also I have given you, but before that, what is knee voltage? What is knee voltage? The external voltage beyond which diode current starts increasing rapidly. Already we have discussed, up to some current or voltage it will not conduct, and particular voltage it will start conducting rapidly. That is what your knee voltage. That is what knee voltage. Next, now see forward bias and reverse bias. Some examples first. For forward bias, you see here, this is P type. I have connected 5 volt. Here it is 2 volt, minus 3 volt, minus 8 volt, 2 volt, 0 volt. All are example of forward bias. Next one is reverse bias. Now here, reverse of this above one. What is that? Forward bias. So reverse bias, what we are doing? P type. So P type, negative terminal of battery. N type is connected to positive terminal of battery. Okay. And here, if supplied voltage is greater than barrier potential, then in same direction to barrier potential, width of depletion layer and resistance increase. If it is in same direction, effective barrier voltage is VB plus V. Resistance of ideal diode in reverse bias is infinity. Keep it in mind. Already we have discussed this. Okay. Next, at lower terminal voltage, at lower external voltage, few covalent bonds are broken to liberate electron and holes, and this constitutes reverse saturation current. What it constitutes? Reverse saturation current. Okay. Breakdown voltage now. At very high reverse bias voltage, all the covalent bonds are broken to liberate large number of electrons called breakdown voltage. Okay. At very high reverse bias voltage, all the covalent bonds are broken to liberate large number of electrons called breakdown voltage. तो जब large voltage होता है ना तो सारे covalent bond break हो जाते हैं. Some examples. See here now. Here high potential to N type, low potential to P type. This is what your reverse bias. And next one is avalanche breakdown. There is an unexpected release of large number of electron and holes, thereby sharp increase in current takes place at a voltage called avalanche breakdown. Okay. So this is what graph for forward bias and reverse bias. Next one. Minimum kinetic energy required by a hole to diffuse from P side to N side is EVB. Okay. Next one. If junction is forward bias at V volt, then minimum kinetic energy required is E into VB minus V. And if junction is reverse bias, then E into VB plus voltage. And this dynamic resistance is equal to change in Vd by change in current. And Rd also equal to dV by di. So this is slope of IV curve, 1 by slope of IV curve. Okay. Next is rectification. What is rectification? Process of conversion of AC to DC. And device which converts AC to DC is called rectifier. In that, first one is half wave rectifier. First one is half wave rectifier. So you can see here the diagram. We have used one diode. Yes. This is primary coil. This is secondary coil. This is diode. So during first positive half cycle, this becomes positive, this becomes positive, this becomes negative, this becomes negative. And diode D1 is in forward bias, and that's why it conducts and we will get output. That's why here we are getting output. You can see this is positive half cycle, negative half cycle, positive. So here we are not getting, but here again we are getting output, right? Okay. Next one diode is used and rectifier efficiency eta is equal to DC power by AC power. So DC power is Im by pi whole square RL, Im by 2 whole square RF plus RL. If we will do this, we will get 0.406 RL by RF plus RL. And if for ideal diode RF is equal to 0, then this RL and RL will get cancelled. And then we will get efficiency is equal to 40.6%. Is formula. And if this forward bias diode resistance is 0, then RL will get cancelled. And okay, so this is 40.6%. So see now in this half wave rectifier, IDC and IRMS values are this, ripple factor is this, and input AC power is IRMS square by IRMS square into RL plus RF. Output DC power is this, I square DC RL. So these all note points you keep it in mind. You may get question on this, right? Next one is full wave rectifier. You can see here. Again here this is a primary coil and this is secondary coil. So during first positive half cycle, this becomes positive, this becomes negative. So diode D1 is in forward bias, we will get output. Again during next negative half cycle, this becomes negative, this becomes positive, this is negative, this is positive. This diode conducts and hence we are getting output for both the cycle. You can see in the graph. For positive also and for negative also. Positive also we are getting, negative also we are getting output. Okay, right. Next one. Two diodes are used and efficiency again PDC by PEAC. Same like the formula which we have used before, and some note points I have given, so you can use it. Next one is full wave bridge rectifier. So instead of 2, how many diodes we are using? 4 diodes. Efficiency is same, and just circuit diagram you can keep it in mind. Yes. In the first positive half cycle, D1, D3 will conduct, negative half cycle, D2, D4 will conduct, and we will get continuous output. Next one is ripple factor. What is this ripple factor? It is ratio of RMS value of AC component to the DC component in the rectifier, that is IAC by IDC, and it is equal to IRMS square by IDC minus 1, that is also under root. Okay, got it? And form factor, it is the ratio of IRMS by IDC. So for half wave rectifier, this is form factor 1.57. For full wave rectifier, it is 1.11. You can see this. Next, yesterday we have learned this role of capacitor in filtering. So as potential across VC increased, capacitor gets charged, and if there is no load, it remains charged. If there is no load, it remains charged to peak value. If load is there, it gets discharged, and again for next half cycle it gets charged. So load means low resistance, and here I have written minus dVc by dt is directly proportional to 1 by RC is directly proportional to 1 by T, where T is the time constant. Now see here, there is one diagram. This is rectifier circuit, capacitor and load. So this shows you how it charges. Okay, so this is AC input and this output with capacitor input. So like this charging discharging happens, and for T large, capacitor should be of large value. Okay. Next is a Zener diode. Next is what? Zener diode. So first, Zener diode is heavily doped diode, operate in reverse bias condition. Zener voltage means reverse potential difference at which reverse current increases rapidly. So Zener breakdown and avalanche breakdown, I have given difference. So in Zener breakdown, high level doping is there, low level doping in avalanche breakdown, which is in ordinary diode. So you can see next point also. In this, when reverse potential difference is increased, the electric field across depletion layer also increases, and at a critical value of potential difference, the electric field becomes so strong that it tears apart covalent bonds and releasing large number of electrons. This leads to massive increase in large number of in reverse current, massive increase in reverse current. Here what happens? See here, when the reverse potential difference is increased to a very high value, electric field across the depletion layer accelerates the minority charge, which gains sufficient energy and eject other electrons from the bonds. These ejected electrons cause further ionization by collision with other electrons, which finally leads to massive increase in reverse current. So general breakdown is usually less than 5 volt, as high as 200 volt. This one, avalanche breakdown, as high as 200 volt. Okay, and here you can see one graph is there for this Zener diode, forward bias, reverse bias, and symbol of Zener diode is like this. Okay, like a Z. Next, Zener diode as a voltage regulator. As I said, this works like a bypass road, right? So here you see, here is input resistance and Zener diode is connected, and this is load resistance RL, across which we are getting current IL, and this is IZ, current through Zener diode, and output voltage is V0. Now from Kirchhoff's law, this is total current I is equal to IZ plus IL, and V0 is equal to VZ, which is equal to IL RL, and input voltage is IR plus VZ. Okay, just you can see. And here V input is equal to IR plus Vz, or V output is equal to V input minus Iz plus IL into R. This is just formulas. Next, as V input changes, current through Zener diode change so that V output or Vz remains constant. Means which one? Either output voltage or Zener voltage. Next one is photodiode. Okay. Okay. So now this is photodiode. Yes. Now see here. This is what radiations are falling on the junction, PN junction. Here it is supply, and this is what you can say one ammeter whose range is microampere, which measures the current. So photocurrent is directly proportional to incident light intensity. So whatever incident light intensity is there, according to that, current will flow. So photodiode can be used as a photodetector to detect optical signal. Here there is one graph, I1, I2, I3. So this is reverse current, and you can see as intensity increases, current also increases. Fractional change in majority charge carriers would be much less than that in the minority carriers. Dominated reverse bias current is more easily measurable than the fractional change in the forward bias current. Therefore, photodiodes are perfectly used in the reverse bias condition for measuring light intensity. You can see here. Here also I have connected in reverse bias only. See here. This is negative, this is positive, but connected to P type and N type connected to positive. That's why it is in reverse bias. Okay. And that's why we are getting reverse current only here also. Next. Photodiodes are perfectly used in the reverse bias condition for measuring light intensity. And next diode is light emitting diode. See here. This is in forward bias connected potential resistance, and here it is diode. So forward bias diode emits visible light, and energy of radiation is less than the band gap of semiconductor. Bandwidth of emitted light is how much? 100 angstrom to 500 angstrom, and it is nearly monochromatic, but not exactly. So you can see red color, white, yellow color, green color, blue color, whatever it is. Next is solar cell. Now, no need of biasing. It supplies EMF like ordinary cell. Okay. Semiconductors with band gap close to 1.5 electron volt are ideal materials for solar cell fabrication. Sunlight is not always required. Preferred materials are silicon and gallium arsenide. So you can see here short circuit and open circuit current. So selection of solar cell material. So many of you have doubt maybe that which material we should use for solar cell or for making solar cell. First one is band gap should be less than 1 to 1.8 volt or near in between that range. High optical absorption and good electrical conductivity, availability of raw material and its cost. Okay. These materials these properties we will first think about. Next is transistor. Transfer resistor. Current operated solid state devices. What are transistors? Current operated solid state devices. Most of the time silicon is used. So now how many terminals we are having? 3 terminals: base, collector and emitter. Base is doping, lightly doped. Collector is moderately doped. Emitter is heavily doped. Physical size: base is small, collector is large and emitter is moderate. Yesterday I told you 3 brother story, hai na? That is what this. Electron emitter based junction is always forward bias, and collector based junction is reverse bias. Next. Now types of transistor. How many types? NPN and PNP. NPN and PNP. Okay, you can see symbols. Always arrow always goes from P to E. P to N, P to N, and the terminal on which arrow is there, that is emitter, then other two are collector and base. You can see here symbols, and like this only you draw in the exam also. Next, conventional current flows from base to emitter in which transistor? NPN transistor. Here it is from emitter to base. IE is equal to IB plus IC. Here IC is equal to IB plus IE. Okay. यहाँ पे IE करो. Just change it here. IE. IC is equal to 97 to 98% of IE, and same point here also. IB is equal to this. Next one, transistor configuration. Next one is what? Transistor configuration. CB, CE and CC. Common base, common emitter, common collector. So CB means base terminal is earth, input is given across B and output is taken across BC. So you can see here I have given you diagram. Input is given across emitter base and output is taken across collector base. So alpha means current amplification factor, delta IC by delta IE, and for DC alpha is equal to IC by IE, because here it is change in current, here it is not. Next, alpha value always lies between 0.95 to 0.99, and phase difference is 0, power gain is medium, and this useful in application of current. Input resistance and output resistance, delta VBE by delta IB, okay, and here delta VCB by delta IC. Voltage gain is what formula? Current gain into voltage gain, that is power gain, okay. So current gain into resistance gain is voltage gain, and AV is denoted by alpha into R output by R input. Power gain is voltage gain into current gain, substitute karo. So AV into alpha, so alpha square into R output by R input. This is for CB configuration. Next one is C configuration. Here useful in power application. So here also current amplification factor is beta, and this is delta IC by delta IB. So for DC it is just IC by IB. Beta value lies between 50 to 500. Phase difference is pi. Power gain is maximum. Output resistance is nearly equal to 50 kilo ohm. Output resistance is this. Voltage gain and current gain same like previous one. Next is CC. So useful in impedance matching circuits. So gamma is current amplification factor here. Delta E by delta IB at constant VCE, and output resistance is nearly equal to 1 kilo ohm, and this is input resistance and output resistance. Now relation between alpha and beta. Alpha formula is what? Delta IC by delta I. Beta is what? Delta IC by delta IB. So what I am doing at the place of IB, I am substituting this delta I minus delta IC, and then dividing by delta I. So this is alpha 1 minus alpha. Finished. Beta is equal to alpha by 1 minus alpha. This is what relation between alpha and beta. Okay. Next. So relation between alpha, beta and gamma. So already we got one relation, 1 by 1 minus alpha is equal to beta by alpha, which is equal to beta plus 1. This is equal to gamma. So keep it in mind, gamma is equal to beta plus 1. Okay. Thermal properties of matter alpha, beta, gamma is different. This is different. Okay. Next one is transistor characteristics. Next one is what? Transistor characteristics. Transistor characteristics. Now you can see how to draw diagram. This is transistor, this is emitter, okay, and this is base collector. So this complete is input section. So here it is VBE, R2 and VBB. This is one ammeter I have connected to the base terminal which measures base current. This is again ammeter connected to collector terminal which measures collector current, and this is VCE in between this, and this is R1, and VCC supplied to which one? Collector terminal. So if we will study this input characteristics as we have discussed yesterday, change VBE, measure IB, keep constant VCE. So we have plotted this graph also. Similarly, now output characteristics, what we have to do, change VCE, measure IC, keep constant IB. I will show you what we have to do. Change VCE, measure IC, keep constant IB. Means what now? This we have to keep constant. This we have to keep constant. We have to change this and measure this. That's it. Because input we will keep constant now, and this we will change in output characteristics. Understood? Okay. Right. Now you can see if we will plot graph, we will get three regions: cutoff region, active region, and saturation region. Okay. And like this graph we will get in output characteristics. Now what is this saturation region, cutoff region, and active or linear region? So in saturation region, this collector current is independent of base current. This happens when both junctions are forward biased. Cutoff region, IC is almost equal to 0. This happens when both the junctions are reverse biased. Okay. यहाँ पे अगर फॉरवर्ड बायस है तो कलेक्टर करंट इज इंडिपेंडेंट ऑफ बेस करंट. इनपुट और आउटपुट का कोई लेना देना नहीं है. यहाँ पे अगर ये रिवर्स बायस है तो IC is almost equal to 0, means collector current is 0. That is cutoff region. Next one is active or linear region, which I have shown already in a graph. So IC is many times greater than base current. Small change in input current produces large change in output current, and this happens when emitter junction is forward bias, collector junction is reverse bias. So see how this transistor works in different region, and that is just because of forward and reverse bias conditions. Understand? And transistor works as an amplifier in this region only. Which region? Active region. Yesterday I told how this transistor works in three regions. Okay. And in saturation or cutoff region, it works as a switch. Okay. Right. Now transistor as a switch, how it works. You can see here one resistance I have connected. Here it is another resistance, and V0 and V input I have given. So how it works? Let's see. Applying KVL, Phi is equal to IBRB plus VBE, and V0 is equal to ICC minus ICRC. So in case of this silicon transistor, input voltage is less than 0.6 volt, and transistor will be in cutoff state, and current IC will be 0. Hence V0 is equal to VCC. When Vi becomes greater than 0.6 volt, the transistor is in active region. So V0 decreases linearly till its value becomes less than about 1 volt. So this is how it works. They have explained. So you can see here the graph is clear. Saturation region, active region, and cutoff region. How the voltage is varying with the input voltage. That is output voltage varying with input voltage. Now transistor as an amplifier. So process of raising strength of weak input signal to a strong output signal. And amplifier means what? The device which which amplifies the strength of weak input to strong output signal. Application industries, TV, radio, communication. Now power amplifier and voltage amplifier. So first one is transistor as an amplifier circuit. You can see the diagram. What we have connected: input voltage, battery, one resistance, and here it is a load, and here also one small potential. Now voltage gain is what? A ratio of change in output voltage to the change in input voltage. This is called voltage gain, and this is delta VC by delta VBE. So RL into delta IC, RI into delta IB, and therefore beta into RL by RE is equal to voltage gain. And what it negative sign indicates? Output and output voltages are in opposite phase. Okay. Next one is power gain. So this is output power by input power. So P0 by I0, P0 by Pi, that is I0 P0 by I in V in, means output current into output voltage divided by input current into input voltage. So this is current gain into voltage gain, and that is what beta into AV. Already I have given formula before page. You can see. Next, this is beta square into R output by R input. Next is concept of feedback, right? So some feedback. When the sum part of output is given again back to the input, that is what your feedback is. Voltage feedback is in phase with applied voltage, and feedback is positive or regenerative. Voltage feedback is in opposite phase with applied voltage and negative or regenerative. So this is just, you have to keep it in mind. They will not ask you this feedback is what. In higher studies it may useful for you. Okay, so this is what the feedback, how it is going to give, right? If a fraction beta of this output voltage is feedback into the input in phase with the applied signal, then actual input voltage of the amplifier EI is equal to ES plus EF, and then just here A by 1 minus beta into A. So positive feedback increases the gain of the amplifier, and if too much positive feedback is applied, so that 1 minus beta A is equal to 0, the gain of amplifier becomes infinity. Okay, this is about feedback, and feedback is negative and feedback is positive in these type of conditions. Next is digital electronics. So number system, binary, octal, decimal, hexadecimal. Binary system, there are two, means base is 2, 0 and 1. Here it is base is 8, that's why octal. So numbers included are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 7. Decimal system, there are 10 digits and starting from 0 to 9 are used. Hexadecimal, 0 to 9 are same as decimal system, but after that A, B, C, D and E and F. Okay, next is Boolean algebra. Next is Boolean algebra. Now see, on high is indicated by 1, even we can say it as a true or yes. Off means low, and 0 is indicator by false or no. Anything indicated by 1 means you can indicate on or high or true or yes by 1. Off or low or false or no, you can indicate by 0. So or and not denoted by plus, and is denoted by dot, not is denoted by bar. Okay, this is not minus, bar over something. Its equation you can see A plus B, that is A or B, A and B, and this is not A. How to read A or B, A or B, A and B, not A. Okay, and rules are there. I have given. You can see 0 or 0 is equal to 0. 0 or 1, 1. 1 or 0, 1. 1 or 1 is equal to 1. 0 and 0, 0. 0 and 1, 0. 1 and 0, 0. 1 and 1, 1. And this is complement. If it is 0, it becomes 1. 1's complement is 0. Now commutative laws, A or B is equal to B or A and B is equal to B and A. And associative laws, A or B or C in bracket is equal to A or B or C. Similarly here also A and B and C bracket is equal to A and B and C. This is not multiplication, this is AND. We will see how it is. Distributive laws, A and B or C is equal to A and B or A and C. So basic or and relations. A or 0, 1. A or 1, 1. You substitute A at the A place of A. Anything, you will get this only. Okay, just go through this. And De Morgan's theorem, cut the line, change the symbol. Like this is there, no? You can write like this also. Same value you will get. Here now, A and B bar is equal to A bar plus B bar. I will explain in the class again. Next one. These are the logic gates, or and not gate. So A or B, A and B, and this is A bar. Input is A and B, Y is A or B, A B, Y, A and B, and Y A bar. See now 0 0 0 0 1 1 1 0 1 1 1 1. I will explain this in the class again, these gates. Okay. Next is combination of gates. NOR means and plus not gate. and its output is like this. Next is NAND gate, means AND plus NOT gate. And uses of NOR and NAND gate, we can construct any gate by using NAND and NOR. That is what beauty is. You can see here gate is NOT, but we have used here not NAND gate. Here it is NOR gate, and we have constructed NOT gate, AND gate, and this is OR gate. We can construct this. That's why we are saying it as a universal building block. XOR gate, and this is XNOR gate. Okay, and their truth table again I will explain in the class. Don't worry. And this is integrated circuits. So entire circuit of a small single means on single block. Dimensions are as small as 1 millimeter by 1 millimeter or even be smaller. So IC circuits, you know, and small scale integration, medium scale integration, large scale integration. So logic gates less than 1000, logic gates less than 100, and VLSI greater than 1000. That is what technologies of integrated circuits. Okay. So just go through the notes. How much you can understand, you just read, and where you are not understanding, just point out that. Next class, you bring the Xerox with pencil. Again, I will clear your doubt and I will explain this logic gate part also, as well as this Boolean algebra also. Okay, right? So let's stop here for today. Bye.